This is Dave Brixius.
This is Zed O'Brien.
And this is the program CFA. Back, end of the regular season. It's over. Put it in the books.
Playoffs.
Playoff time, baby. This is what these kids have worked. Yeah, the playoffs. All the playoffs. Yeah, the playoffs. Who made the playoffs? But this is what all these kids have been working for. Working towards this goal, making the playoffs. As we expanded, the league got bigger once again. Another year where it grew. Because it is the best league there in Pennsylvania, youth football, so it grew again. And some of those teams that came in this year, like Hummelstown, Hershey, Northern Lebanon, some of those teams got in. You know what I mean? They did what they needed to do, got themselves in, which is great to see, and all that. But before we get to all that playoff stuff, got to give a big shout out to the Harrisburg Broncos, the Smurf Bowl champs, which I think is great. That's awesome that they do that. They have a whole day just set aside for these guys, these Smurfs, to play, to be able to, prove themselves and to have fun at the last game. And it's something good to see, you know what I mean? Because, they don't have, like the Pee-wees, the Ponies, and midgets have Super Bowl Sunday or Saturday or whatever it is. These guys actually have a chance now to do that, which is awesome. I think that's a great thing about the league.
I think it's a great thing that those guys put together.
Yeah.
And, those Spurs are out there as much as the big guys. They come out every week, play hard, and, I'm sure they practice hard as well. So,
yeah, so it's good to see.
Yeah, congratulations to them for winning that Smurf Bowl.
Yeah, and all those teams out there, putting out there. But I was on their Facebook site and all that, the Harrisburg Broncos. They had all the pictures of the kids holding the trophy. I think some of the trophies are bigger than some of the kids, it looked like, which is good. It's good to see the kids out there having a good time.
I think they had a JV bowl too. I'm not sure.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I tell you what, this league definitely does it up for these kids. I mean, honestly, I don't know of any other league. I know it's the only football league around, but even other organizations, I don't think do anything to this extent or this elaborate. You know what I mean? You're coming up in a couple weeks after the Super Bowl, which is an extravaganza, 2 days. Then you have the following week, which you have the All-Stars, the Turnpike Classic, which is actually unbelievable. And you and I know, we're doing a combine that weekend, that Saturday morning. So, I mean, they're doing it all up here. You know what I mean? So, it's going to be fun, exciting, all that good kind of stuff. Wanted to mention a kid. We got some emails, so I appreciate the coaches reaching out. It's nice to see them now starting to get that engagement back. One of the coaches reached out to me talking about the new Cumberland Midgets. I think they went undefeated this year, which is congratulations. That's awesome, fantastic. But talking about their QB, who had a great year, Chris Dare. Congratulations to him. It's good to see, teams do well. Players do well, work hard, all that kind of stuff. Get out there and see an undefeated team, because I know it's competitive. The league has become very, very competitive. Where you're not going to see, I think, that dominant run anymore. Back in the day of the Holy Name midget program, where they went like 11 and 12 years or something, like Super Bowl. I don't think you're going to see that much anymore, because there's just too much good talent here that these guys are going to beat each other up at sometimes. So we're giving a big shout out there to Chris. Thanks for that email that we got on him, and also the new Cumberland Midget team for going undefeated. I know you had some other teams that you wanted to mention that were undefeated here.
Yeah, just real quick, just give acknowledgement. I mean, there's actually several one-loss teams as well, but shout out to these undefeated teams: West Perry Pee-wee team and Pony team.
Wow,
we're undefeated in the American Conference, so good job on that. As you mentioned, the Halifax Midgets went undefeated. The New Cumberland Midgets went undefeated, as you mentioned. The Mechanicsburg Pony team went undefeated.
Wow.
Saw them a couple times.
Okay, yeah.
It's obviously a pretty good team.
Yeah, I was working with a kid who played on that team, and he always kept me up to date. He said they were. I didn't hear about the last game, but he said they were going to the last game undefeated. So awesome.
And the Harrisburg, I think it's the Broncos midget team, also went undefeated.
Okay.
And shout out to the York Pee-wee team. I think some of those kids were actually on that team that won the Smurf Bowl last year. So
okay.
Shout out to York. And that being said, it's the playoffs, and most of these teams are going against number 8 seeds. But you never know what can happen.
I mean, well, here, I think it was the Packers. The midget Packers went undefeated this year. I think it's the Broncos. Yeah, I think the Packers.
Sorry about that.
But they were the number 1 seed last year, got knocked down in the second round by Holy Name.
Right.
They're the number 1 seed, and they got to play Central Dauphin, who didn't have quite a good year at the midget level this year as they did. They won 2 or 3 in a row or something like that.
It's kind of,
but they got themselves in the playoffs, and like you said, anything can happen. You have one injury to a kid during a game or practice or whatever, and guess what? Everything changes. So you just never know. But we got to give credit where credit's due. And when you go undefeated and you're playing 9, 10 games or whatever up to this point, That's pretty impressive.
Definitely.
Game in and game out. So congratulations to all you guys out there that played, but just to everybody, for getting a great job done. We wanted to go over a couple of different games here. Just to highlight, we can't go over everybody. We'd be here for hours upon hours upon hours.
Indeed.
But at least, some of the sites where some of these games are going on, they're going to be on Saturday night. So if you're not doing anything Saturday, get yourself out. Hershey's has some Saturday games. West Perry's having them out at Shippensburg, I think, has some. And then Holy Name as well. And then Big Spring. So there's some Saturday games going on. And Redland also has some Saturday games. So if you have a chance, get out there, see these kids play. If you're not, then the Sunday games. But I know you wanted to talk about some of these teams at some of these sites here. So
yeah, and we talked about it earlier. There's some new teams in the league.
Yeah.
And just looking at the first set of games on Saturday, Hershey's hosting some games, and two of their teams, Pony and midget level, will both play on that night.
Okay, and the interesting thing about Hershey, coming in the league this year, they're playing Cedar Cliff, who last year played for the midget championship, lost to East Penn there in that game that we were at. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams adjust coming in. These guys, this is new to them. This different teams amp themselves up. You know what I mean? Teams are ready. This team, Cedar Cliff, they've been there before. We'll see if they, have the mojo to take care of business. They're the 6th seed. Hershey's the number 3 seed. Hershey is playing, though, at home.
Yeah.
So it definitely sometimes gives you some favor, but you never know.
And actually, that's a pretty good Hershey team on the pony level. Actually, Norman has a pretty good team as well.
Yeah.
Got to see both of them during the season. Some good games actually on Sunday as well out of York. You have the York Bears at the pony level going against Harrisburg.
Okay.
Got a number 4 versus 5 seed. So
okay.
Historically, that's usually a pretty close game.
Yeah.
So, looking at a couple of the other games at the Redland site on Sunday, we have the Redland midgets against the CD East midgets.
Okay.
Number 5 versus 4 seed.
Yeah, I have on the Mechanicsburg game on Sunday. The new team
That's
coming in.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Hummelstown coming in. Their midget program. They're going to be playing Mechanicsburg. It's at Mechanicsburg. So we're going to see what's going to happen. Like I said, it's another team they're new to this league this year. Mm-hmm. This isn't the same kind of league they played in before. They actually never had playoffs before. I don't know if a lot of people know this. Northern Lebanon, Hershey, Hummelstown, they didn't have playoffs. They took whoever won the regular season with the best record, they're your champion.
Wow.
That's how it went. So this is something different for these guys. This is, these teams are going to be ready, who have been here before. They know what the playoffs are all about. There's a different level that teams come to. They start to play, they rise themselves up for some reason. They get themselves rolling. So this is going to be interesting to see how Hummelstown does. I know a couple kids on that team. I know they're hard-nosed kids. They work hard. So we're going to see how they produce on Sunday against Mechanicsburg, who's definitely playing at home. And then the other game we're mentioning, this is over at Harrisburg. The Harrisburg Broncos Pee Wee team are playing the Swadera Tigers. 4-5 matchup there at Harrisburg. Harrisburg has it, but you know how that goes. Yep. That's that rivalry.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I know it's not the Harrisburg Packers Broncos, but still there's some good games that go on between Swadera and Harrisburg.
Yep, and all those kids know each other, so and I think it's a pretty good thing. Let's looking at some of these sites here. With Hershey's first year in the league, I think that was pretty. I don't want to say nice of them, but it's pretty decent of them to let Hershey host some playoff games. Get a taste of what playoff. A taste of the playoffs in the CFA is like you said, they were in the playoffs before. So and as you mentioned to me, off camera, that new field at Camp
Oh yeah, baby!
Some playoff games.
They christened that with that varsity team. I was there when they played Palmyra a few weeks back, and it was the Bill Williams show that night. But we're going to see how these young kids christen it here this time, which I think is great that they're allowing them to do this on that field because I think that's fantastic. It's a beautiful field. I don't think you've been there this year yet. You were there a couple times last year, and you said definitely needs to be revamped. So that's what they did, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So it's going to be interesting to see how these kids react to this. I mean, it's a brand new turf and everything. So I think it's great that these fields have been opened up to these kids, and they're allowing them to use them, which I think should be going on. But it's fantastic to see, and I think going on from here. It's one game and you're done now. This isn't like the regular season. If you're not coming ready, if you're number 1 seed, number 2, number 3 seed, and you're not ready to go, you can't say, well, okay, we'll get them next time. Yep. It's over. See ya. You got to go pack up the bags. You're going home. You can watch from the stands the next couple of weeks.
And you'll see that, momentum will play a big part in these games. I mean, the lower seeds, they get off to a hot start, and all of a sudden the teams that's supposed to be the higher seed, then you'll see they're in a little trouble. Then we'll see how they react.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't happen in every game, but there's going to be some games where the team that's the underdog will come out.
What do they got to lose?
Yep.
Let's be honest. If I'm an 8 seed, what do I got to lose? I'm supposed to get creamed.
Pull out all the plays.
You might as well just pull everything out.
You need to save them for.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't know if you're going to be back. Yeah, exactly. So, we're looking forward to this. This is expanded. The CFA expanded out, which I think is great. We're going to then knock it down. We're going to get to the semifinal rounds next week, and then after that, 2 weeks after this, you're looking at the Super Bowl. November. I think the week of the November 8th.
Quick.
It. Yeah. I mean, these kids. We talk about it every year. These kids start in the end of January or July. I'm sorry, end of July, and they boom. They're ready to fire through, and this is it. Some kids are done. Some didn't make the playoffs this year. Surprisingly, some of them that we're just talking off camera that didn't make it, but this is it.
And actually, to those kids that are on teams that aren't in the playoffs this year. Don't hang your head about it. Just go into this off season. I know some of you play other sports, but just work harder, get on your teammates.
Well, working harder. Here's a perfect example. You guys can always come out. We're running our PA football academy again this year. We're starting it up earlier, starting up in November. We got some great guys that are going to be helping us out. Just to name a few that you guys probably know. Ben Dupree's going to be coming out to help out. I know everybody knows him from Susquehanna. Played at the Citadel. Jamie Thomas played for the Indianapolis Colts. He just gave me some word this week that he said he'll be more than happy to help out the kids. And then we got a guy down the northern region who had a great career at East Stroudsburg, Robbie Byler. He's coming out. I'll tell you what, he was just at a combine this past weekend for the CFL, ran a 4.4. Clocked at a 4.4, and his pro agility's a 4.1. He jumped, broad jump was a 10.9. So these guys are all going to be coming out, helping out, giving back the young kids. So if your season's done and you're looking for something to do, keep involved with football, learn actually the fundamentals, because we're really going to be hammering home the fundamentals this time. Definitely. Hammering home the fundamentals. We want you guys to learn how to do stuff properly. Definitely hook us up. Look us up. You know how to get in touch with us, and we'll definitely be putting more stuff out over the next couple of weeks. But if you're not, get out and support the other kids. If you're not playing this weekend, get out and support these other teams, that you guys played against, because that's what it's all about. Yeah. Getting out there and continue to promote youth football in the central PA area, because, the signs are that there's going to be a decline here because, the concussions and stuff. So you're going to see probably less and less kids playing until we get this under control. And we don't want to see that. We want to see that the sport continue to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep, and as you said, it was, as people educate themselves more about concussions,
yep.
And just in general, just taking care of your bodies and exercising and training correctly, and because I've seen a lot of games up close and personal, and some of you guys need to make it in here. So
yeah, we would definitely help you guys out and stuff like that. But I just got to give one more shout out. I did get an email from Doug for the Halifax Midgets. He said the team went undefeated this year. Congratulations. I think he said very few points were scored on them. It takes me back to the Susquehanna a couple years ago, that midget team, remember? They didn't get scored on until the playoffs when I think Seven Stars rung up 21 on them, but I think that's all they gave up all year. So congratulations to you guys. I appreciate it. If you guys have information, please, I'm telling you again, some people picked up on it. Get it to us, all right? That's all you got to do.
And I'm going to send a shout out to York, because they always watch the show. I know
yeah, that's true.
I'm going to send a shout out to East Pennsboro, because I know they watch the show a lot too. I know some other teams out there. New Cumberland, I know they watch it. Mechanicsburg. I don't want to single anybody out.
Yeah, Cedar Cliff, I know. But listen, we appreciate it. Yeah, listen, we appreciate it. We do it because we like to do it.
Right.
There's nothing else behind it. We just like promoting it. We like promoting the sport. We like promoting, the kids as much as we can. So if there is somebody you want us to mention, we don't have a problem. This isn't one way or another. You give it to us, they're going to get mentioned.
We won't even tell you we won't even tell anybody that you said the information.
Yeah, exactly. You can be anonymous.
Okay.
That's cool by us. But listen, guys, everybody, all the coaches, players, fans, parents out there, have a good weekend. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend, really, really nice. So get out there, support these kids. You know what I mean? Let's keep it positive. That's the one big thing. I haven't heard really a lot of that negative stuff that we heard last year that we had to deal with. So that's a good thing. We're learning. Let's keep it positive for the kids. Remember, it's for the kids, not for us, not for the parents. It's for the kids. Let them continue to grow. Let them learn not just the sport of football, but let them know it's all about life too. All right? They learn them lessons of life.
Yeah.
All right? Anything else to add in?
That's it.
All right, man. So listen, guys, get out there this weekend, unleash your potential. This is Dave Brixius.
Is that O'Brien?
You know this is the program.